And I feel like right now I'm like so in sync with the market that like not being in front of the markets is like just does me no good. Like I have to be seeing the market. Like I don't have to, but it's just part of like who I am now. But what's up? I'm on this tiny ass computer. You guys hear me all good? Everything perfecto? What the called EJ out perfectly? Yeah, literally like everything with EJ that we went over last week has literally played out to the T. Like there's been no, and we're gonna go over everything now from entries, like everything we covered. But I want to do the regular. I want to do the full top-down analysis, basically for this upcoming week, and then I want to go over your guys' homework. So basically, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to obviously just do a full Sunday swings, go over everything, obviously everything we've learned, and then we're gonna go and check out your guys' homework after I completely review this one and show you guys how I would have entered here, so on and so forth. So first, let's just go over your JPY where we are now, like if we're gonna be looking for a trade or not. So let's start off on the weekly time frame, like usual. So as you can tell, again, weekly time frame is still bullish. Daily time frame is still bearish. 4-hour time frame is now bullish, right? So then this is where we reset. Like always, where are we on the weekly? And if you notice, the weekly is no longer at the weekly previous structure point, or somewhat of a resistance and support, because we've obviously rejected it, right? So this is the area where we were looking to take the trade. So on the weekly, all we have is a nice weekly bullish engulfing. On the daily time frame, literally everything exactly as we explained last week, which is the wick pullback into this area of interest, just everything that we literally covered on Wednesday played out perfectly Wednesday night through Thursday and Friday. And then I'm going to obviously, explain to you guys my predictions now for this upcoming week. So kind of how the daily creates that daily wick. Obviously, we have the daily bullish engulfing, and then we have that daily wick pullback to then have the next push up. And that daily wick pullback is the 4-hour higher low. You understand that, right? That's very clear. We know exactly what it is, right? Type 1. Yeah, let's go back with the 1. So type 1 of it, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, fire. Cool. Okay, so that's the pullback that we are explaining. So the same thing how the daily had that wick pullback, the weekly needs the same thing. This weekly time frame now needs this wick pullback. It doesn't have to be all the way down here or anything, but it needs a wick pullback. If you notice, every single week has some type of a wick, even if it's something as small as this one. I can zoom in so you guys can see it. Like that wick right there could be a minor higher low on the 4-hour or on the daily. Like we need that wick. Rarely ever does the market just open and then boom, head to the upside. Like let's see, like here, even when it opened, little wick. So the goal is that we want then this weekly wick, because it has to happen. Like there's like a 80% chance, even 90% chance we're gonna get a wick, and we obviously want to enter within that wick. So this is just a random wick size. Let's just say it's something like this. If we go down to the daily time frame, you notice it's gonna be somewhat of a little retracement, whether it's a candlestick. You notice the daily needs to now create a higher low to then have a higher high. You guys are with me on that, right? Like we can't just from here just magically keep going up. Like we need some type of retracement, even if it's something as small as this. Even though this isn't an elbow, this is a retracement. You see how price has some exhaustion? Like if you guys see through here, some little pullbacks, some little pullbacks. So this is gonna need the same thing, especially that we're coming into this level of resistance throughout here. So you can see it could be support, resistance, be used as resistance here. So then If you notice, that's where everything that we taught on the first week, that's where the 4 hour, where then would maybe go bearish just to have this pullback or just create lower structure. So then we shift again and then go back up to the upside, right? So again, it comes back down to when you're going to take the trade, where are we taking the trade? Where are we buying at? And if you notice, if we have this retracement, the only way I will buy this trade, if it comes back down into my daily area of interest. Like I told you guys last week, I will not buy or sell a trade unless we're not at a weekly or daily area of interest. So this trade for me right now, technically, it's gone, right? If we didn't enter right here where we would have entered and we haven't been set and forget, then we basically missed the trade, right? Like there's nothing we can do because this is the ideal swing trade. Now, when you want to take those intraday trades and all that stuff, yeah, you can probably get on a little retracement, which the trade technically basically already happened. Like if the trade kind of has a higher low into here, but it almost would already be a higher low at our daily area of interest. Might as well just wait for it to come there. You guys understand that? Is that clear? Do you guys have any questions on that? One. Okay, perfect, cool. So yeah, so for this thing right here, we're out after I'm done with everything. We'll come back to it, and then I'll do like the full analysis, and then like you guys saw it happen, right? Like you guys saw this retracement, you guys saw the shift on the lower time frames, like you guys saw it all happen, right? Like there's no like magic, right? Like it's just simple. I felt like a wizard when I was seeing it. Yeah. And I explained to you guys, I'm like, yo, I don't know where it's gonna stop. I literally told you guys, I have no idea. It can literally be, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here. I don't know where it's gonna happen. I think all of us caught it. I hope so. I really do, because I don't know when this pullback is gonna stop. But I could almost guarantee you when we go down to the lower time frame, and then this time frame shifts right here. When it has that shift, now it tells you this pullback is done. So basically the entry is right here, at least for me, was at this shift of structure, or maybe this one. Then you go out to the 4 hour, and then what a coincidence that it's a 4 hour Doji candle. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that everything I was explaining happened perfectly, right? As you can see, it's happening now. But yeah, as of for this trade, I am not interested in taking the trade unless we are back at a daily area of interest. That's literally it. There's really nothing else for me to say on that. Gold, very simple. So we'll start again, the regular weekly. Weekly is still bearish. As you can tell, we still have a lower low. Daily time frame, as you can tell, daily time frame is still bearish, because if this were to be the lower high, and if this were to be the lower low, we're still in between those lines. And then the 4 hour is technically bullish. Yes, correct. So the 4 hour is bullish, leaving us at this. So now we go back out to the weekly time frame. It's the same thing. It's just repeating, rinse and repeat, right? Where are we on the weekly? Can we type anything up here for the weekly? Can we type anything here? Okay, so it's either nothing or on our way to our weekly area of interest 1, right? So pretty much just on our way. On the way, area of interest 1, right? This is where we go down to the daily. So now, what can we put here for the daily? If you notice, the daily obviously looks a lot more clear. As you can see here, the daily is at daily area of interest. So we are at daily area of interest. Is there anything else we could type up here for the daily? What else do you guys see here for the daily on gold? Okay, one person got it. Two. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Perfect. So as you can tell, we have a daily doji. Daily doji rejecting this support being used as resistance. So we have daily doji candlestick. Daily doji. Right. So as you can tell, this is where we would go down to the 4 hour. And then in order for us to sell, what do we need on the 4 hour? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Well, okay, yeah. So it's both. It's either a break of structure or we need a lower high to sell. As you can tell right now, we are at our area of interest, but we are creating a potential higher low. So since we're literally above this area, we can use it as support and continue heading to the upside. Like we would have to wait for price to either break under the structure and then give us a lower high. And then at this lower high, when we have the bullish structure, then this is where we would wait for the shift to then bears to then take the trade short. You guys see all of that, right? Does that make sense? That almost like crazy simple that you guys would have like now, after obviously like 4 weeks, it's very simple to see it, right? Like it's almost like impossible to not even understand it. It's very clear. Exactly. So it would also be a head and shoulders. So exactly how I explained to you guys last week. Like you guys can literally go to like whoever gets to see these recordings later in the future, they were like, holy shit, like what the fuck? Because you guys can see here, I literally told you guys from here, we're gonna have a rejection, obviously, because we are at the support. It's gonna reject, like we're obviously under it. So it's either gonna break under this and then have the pullback, or we're going to have the push, create a high, and then we'll break and then do this, right? So these are the things that we need the market to do in order for us to enter right here at this point right here, right? So as of right now, I don't like how we are above wrong psychological. I don't like how we're above this support and resistance. So for me, we're literally waiting for, so we're at it on the daily, but we know what we need on the 4 hour. So for 6, like this is the power of the trading plan. It literally tells you everything you need. Waiting for 4 hour lower high. Simple. You guys see how simple that is. So like there's no FOMO, there's no fear, there's nothing. Like it's literally, this thing right here is literally telling you what you're waiting for. We're waiting for a lower high. If we don't get a lower high, we simply can't sell. So was that simple, clear? Was I going too fast? Drop a 1 if it was good. One, real smooth, awesome. This man dropped a 5. All right. So moving on to now NZDJPY, right? Same exact thing. Start off on the weekly. As you can tell here, we're waiting for our retest of our area of interest. This is obviously our area of interest. As of now, it is still bearish. The daily time frame is still bearish, and then the 4 hour time frame is now bearish. You guys are seeing all of that, right? You guys are seeing how everything is bearish. You guys are seeing here how it went temporarily. Damn, I hate this computer. You guys see how we went temporarily from bearish to then bullish to then back to then bearish. If you notice, the reason why we went bullish was for the daily to have this retracement. You guys are seeing it, right? You guys are seeing how from the beginning classes, how it literally exactly what I'm explaining happening every single day in the markets. Just you guys obviously didn't know how to see it, right? Is it clear? Do you guys see how that, like how the 4 hour had to go bullish in order for this to have its retracement? One. Okay, cool, perfect. Perfect. All right, cool. So obviously the daily and the weekly did not reach our area of interest. It didn't even reach this previous structure point. I guess it just found some resistance at this point here. Cool. Like first thing I told you guys, if price doesn't get to my area of interest, I simply don't do nothing. So as of right now, until this still doesn't get to my area of interest, I'm good. Yeah, you can technically look for some like day trade shorts maybe at this retracement here, because then you're technically selling at a daily area of interest, because this would be your area of interest 1. Again, this would be, this is your lower high up here, this is your lower low, you would drag it to the left, whatever, then you would find your zone. This literally line right here would be your zone, and then you can wait for a little retracement here to then take the trade short. That could be a very nice day trade. I personally myself, when there's such a big drop like this, like I don't want to enter, like I don't want to be that guy entering on this little wick, because then what are the odds that this now has another huge candle like this? It can happen, but the odds really aren't there, right? Like the weekly needs to have its retracement. Like it needs to have a body come back in here. Like it needs to create that elbow. I don't want to get on that little 4-hour elbow. It's the same thing as here. Like it's basically the same thing. You guys are seeing the push, needs the pullback to then continue going to the upside. It's the same thing. Like this isn't just going to keep dropping and having these little retracements. So for me, if it doesn't create the weekly elbow, I'm good. Would it not be bearish now since it broke below the weekly? Yeah, this is definitely bearish on the weekly, as you can see here, high, higher low, higher high, lower low. So this on the weekly technically moves to here right now because it's just still going, right? So since this isn't coming to here, I'm good. GJ, so crazy week last week. It's been a pretty wild one. I told you guys like GJ is gonna go crazy. So weekly is still technically bearish. You guys are seeing how it's bearish, right? You guys are seeing it? All right, so what would be the lower high? Would the lower high be 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3? All right, all right. All of you guys on the money. All right, what would the lower low be? Would the lower low be 1 or 2? 1 or 2? Perfect. All of you guys got it. Chilling. So we're still technically bearish on the weekly. On the daily, what a coincidence. Are we bullish or bearish? Okay. Okay. Cool. Perfect. Chilling. So as you guys can tell, daily is obviously still bearish. And then if we go down to the 4-hour, the 4-hour is technically bullish if we were to call this the little elbow, whatever. We are at a point where I have my line draw up right here. Honestly, GJ is just looking crazy this week. So if you broke through this area of interest, we take it off. If you broke through this area of interest, let's just take it down a little bit, the color, so we don't see it. And then if there's any text, let's delete it. All right, cool. So this is the daily support and resistance, daily EMA, 4-hour. All right, cool. So we're basically at the same level that we were looking to sell last week or buy or whatever. When we were above it, we're looking to buy. Now we're obviously under it. I personally, myself, with GJ, I need to see here a daily bearish engulfing because one, we're at the daily EMA. We get a daily bearish engulfing like this, and then I will enter on the next daily wick pullback. What does that leave me with? That's when we go down to the 4-hour. And this is when the 4-hour will then create a lower low, confirming we're rejecting this area. And on that lower low, this is where we're going to have the pullback, which is that wick. And on this pullback, whenever it goes bearish, I take the trade short. You guys have seen how simple it is. Like very, very textbook in my opinion. I just hate this zone because look how choppy we were last time we were in here. This is where we were stuck in the zone for like ever. So as of right now, that's kind of what I'm looking for GJ this week. GJ took its own thing, right? So this one obviously looks a lot more interesting than NZDJPY. Euro GBP, kind of like I explained to you guys last week. Obviously, this area of interest wasn't that valid because like it just like it needs to have this elbow, it needs to have this clean pullback. And exactly how I explained to you guys, if you notice, every single time we created a higher high, we came back and then retested the previous structure point. We did a higher high, come back, retest previous structure point, higher high. Guess what? We're coming back to retest previous structure point. Like nothing changes, right? So let's take off this zone because we already know we're not there anymore. So on the weekly time frame, I don't like this. Like this is just not cool. It's a huge wick, huge bearish candle. At least it didn't engulf, which that's a plus, I guess. But I personally think the weekly needs more. Like this is what you have to ask yourself. Yes, the daily is creating a higher low, and it does look clean to do this, right? But let's be logical. Like you just have to ask yourself, what are the odds of this next weekly candlestick to do this? Not much. Like if you look left, whenever there's a huge candlestick like that, like what are the odds that the next candlestick is a full-blown rejection? Let's find it. Same exact red candlestick. If you notice, it's the exact same trade. What do I mean by that? If you notice here, we have a high, then we have a higher low. What do we have? Or the potential higher low, retesting previous structure point. You guys are seeing that, right? You guys are seeing how it's the same thing, but just here, instead of it being on the daily, it's on the weekly. You guys are seeing that, right? Or is it a little complicated? Notice how this huge red candle, after this huge red candle, continuation. Like you don't want to go against the momentum. That's just me personally. I just don't like whenever we have a huge red candle like that or a huge blue candle, whatever. It just doesn't look good for me. I personally don't want to buy against this. I think this weekly time frame needs a overall bigger retracement to this structure level to then go up to the upside. If that has the bigger pullback, you guys already know what happens here on the daily. It's very simple. The daily has to go bearish. So for right now, not interested in Euro GBP. AUD we're just at like a lower low. I'm good. USD CAD, we're at a higher high, which is insane. Like this is insane. Like we called this from here. Like from, so I'm telling you, like these higher time frame trades could just be insane. And you know, like over time, you'll master how to like hold all of this. Personally, this is not something that I would have held this long. I would have for sure gotten out. If I was going for the swing, I was for sure gonna get out around this level here. So I don't feel that bad at all. Because if you notice, this is a level of, let's make that 100%. You notice it's a level of support, resistance, support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance. So I would have for sure not held, but it shows you the power of being able to hold, right? So as of right now, I'm good. Not trying to catch the top. NZD CAD, we're at the bottom. GBP CHF, very interesting because notice how, what a coincidence that the monthly time frame closes a huge doji, and then the weekly time frame closes a bullish engulfing. So this is like why multiple indications why I'm not trying to take the trade on Euro GBP, because obviously these two things go against each other. Like if this goes down, GBP CHF goes up. So if we're at the lowest point we've ever been on GBP CHF and we just had a bullish weekly engulfing, this needs this retracement to at least continue to go down if it were to, right? But I do think this is going to go out. Like I'm looking for a big time positions trade when it breaks above this. And I'm talking about like I'm gonna hold it for like a month or two. Because it's just like I'd rather buy this than like Bitcoin. Because like if I use leverage, I can quadruple 5 times my account in who knows how much time, right? So all the GBPs, if you notice, they've obviously had the same exact rejection. And I do think the GBP is in need of a pullback, just technical wise. But that's kind of why I'm not interested in Euro GBP, GBP CHF. I'm good, not trying to be involved on there. Same thing here, same thing here. All of these basically for me remain the same. I don't like when they're all the way at this lowest point. I want to get here in the middle on this pullback here. I don't, not at the bottom. This is kind of why I'm not interested here either. None of these, right? So for me this week would basically be the same ones. I don't think this is gonna have any move anytime soon. So I personally am interested in this week on GJ for potential sells if the technicals obviously show it. Then if not, longs, I'll consider them if they present themselves. Gold shorts will be looking very juicy. I think gold is the number one right now. GJ would be under, and then Euro JPY needs to have this first in order for me to be interested in it again. GJ is already technically at that area, and then gold is already technically at that area. So all we have to do is shift bearish to then have the push to the downside. What do you guys think? What do you guys think for this week? You guys are seeing how some weeks it could be like, some weeks it could be 5 pairs, 6 pairs, but then other weeks like this is just literally what makes sense. It's very simple. Would you take a intraday trade while you wait for these higher time frame? 100%. Yes, that's what I do. But obviously, I don't want to teach you guys that just yet. You guys will learn how to do that on your own. Like if you notice, Ricky, he just got funded and making his money on his account. That's not like it is like with like swing trading, but like it he's taking these day trades for sure. But the same strategy applies. Like I told you guys, instead of using these 3 time frames, you just go down to these. AUD CAD has a decent setup. Let's see. Let's see. I don't even remember the last time I looked at this. But like, let me see. Let me just remove all this. Leave that there. Weekly. Technically, the weekly is bearish. The daily is technically bearish. And then the 4-hour is technically bearish as well. Yeah, this looks like a good trade. Just have to see if we're at a nice daily area. So if this were to be the daily lower high, daily lower low, we do this, we start finding areas of interest, obviously from here. Looks okay. And we throw around psychological. Oh yeah, around psychological. 8,900. Some resistance, some support. So let's bring it up to the 8,900. And then let's bring it down to this body right here. So there is a nice level of support, resistance, 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 support all through here. Support, support, resistance, support, clearly just used as resistance. We have a very, very clean daily bearish engulfing candlestick. This is literally exactly what I need on GJ. Notice the bearish engulfing that we would need right here. If I go back to AUD CAD, notice how we need that bearish engulfing. And then when I go down to the 4-hour, it's exactly what Patrice, exactly what he said. We need this retracement, and this retracement is where it's gonna go bullish. And then here's where we're gonna wait for it to go bearish. And then this is where we take the trade to the downside. Then we have a left head, right shoulder, and the compliments get out of that. The man over here is like, yeah, bro, easy. You guys are seeing how I just marked that off in like 5 seconds, right? Like, I'm telling you, like, once you learn how to read it, bro, like the markets literally just tell it to you. So like, shout out to you. We're adding this to the watch list. Good, perfect. All right, so now we add this, John. Gangster. And we got another pair. And this one, again, like I'm not biased. I'm not like, I don't make any of this shit up. Like it's very simple. What do you think looks ready to take a trade? This one or this one? One or two? Which one looks like it's ready to take a trade faster? One or then two? Exactly. So AUD CAD goes above here. Which do you think is ready to take a trade? One or two? One or two? I messed it up there, my bad. Okay, yeah. AUD CAD, exactly. Because here, GJ could not have, like, what we need from GJ is the rejection and then the pullback. This can just keep going up. From this one, we already got the rejection. All we need is the pullback. You guys are seeing that, right? How this one makes a lot more sense. And then which one's more important? Gold or AUD CAD? Or which ones look more ready to take the trade? Gold or AUD CAD? Tricky, it's tricky. I'm gonna show you guys. All right, Brandon got it. Marco got it. Max got it. Elijah got it. Tony got it. Jonathan, you didn't get it, man. It's easy. AUD CAD. Why? Because it's the same exact thing with GJ. This still needs the rejection and then the pullback. This needs two things to take the trade. AUD CAD just needs one. It just needs the retracement. Because we already confirmed rejected this area. From here, we don't know if we're going to reject it. And on this one, we don't know if we're going to reject it either. You guys are seeing that, right? Like these are all facts. Like it's literally what the market is telling us. Do you guys have any questions for this week or from what we marked off? Appreciate the person that presented AUD CAD. Looks very clean for this week. Any questions? Any nonsense? All makes sense. Yeah, very simple. It is a rejection, but remember, since we're obviously above it, and then the 4 hours still technically bullish. So there's two things there. The 4 hours already bearish here on the weekend. So always a rejection, then wait for the pullback. Yep. USD CHF, let's see. All right, let's see. USD CHF. Okay, let's see. Weekly is bullish. Pullback. Daily is bullish. Yep. 4 hour is, yeah. This guy Pratt, man. This guy's killing. Yeah. This one looks great too. I like AUD CAD better. But yeah, this one looks solid, man. It's the same thing. Very clean. I'm glad you guys are literally reading this thing, Vegas, because this is fire. So we need to wait for the 4 hour to go bearish on gold. Yes, correct. Appreciate it, man. All right, cool. So does anybody, so I don't have the list in front of me. My bad, guys. Obviously, I'm not in front of my computer. Does anybody want to go over their like kind of homework they went through the group? So if you guys just say it in the chat, I'll make you host and then we'll chop it up. Anybody that wants to go ahead and volunteer. If not, I'll just select two random people. Whoever wants to volunteer and kind of go over their work. No need to be shy. No pressure. We've been here long. Has it felt like 4 weeks already? Not really, right? Like time has just flown by. Who wants to volunteer? It could be one pair or two pairs. It could be one that's ready, that's not ready. I mean, Pratt, man, you already got them. Like this guy already said, like fire markets. All right, Johnny. Let's do Johnny. Johnny, all right, you could unmute yourself. And you are now the host. Fire, the recording has not stopped.
What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
Is there an echo? I got it on speaker right now. So
Now you're good, man.
all right.
All right, you can share your screen. You can go ahead.
Um, okay, so sorry, I forgot which pair I did, but my bad.
No, you're good, man. And then yeah, this week we're gonna get into like entry signals, stop loss, take profit, literally like the final of it. How to wrap it all up.
Man, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Euro. So I'll actually just
Yeah,
do
yeah,
one.
yeah. Just random one. Do show me like your full top down analysis on it.
Yeah. So that sounds good. So on GBP to AUD, um, I start down. I start on the weekly. Actually, I'll do one in. Yeah, this one should work. Or
Or it doesn't matter. Just
so my
do it like if it's not good or it's not ready, just tell me why it is or why it's not. Just do like a like random. You know how like I get on and I'm just like, all right, this looks good, it doesn't. Tell me this looks good or it doesn't.
all right, sounds good. So currently my weekly is bullish. I did have a giant engulfing candle, but so technically we might expect a retracement pretty soon, but I'd start off by setting my weekly higher high
Nice,
and then weekly higher low.
nice.
My text confluences to go wrong. So moving on to the daily. This one is clearly bullish based on previous structure as well.
Nice.
Then my 4-hour is bullish as well. We got the elbow right up here.
Nice.
So now we got all of them bullish. That gives us a 30% trade for the trend. Going back, going back to the weekly, we want to identify our first area of interest.
Nice.
So right in between here. This would be, I want to say this would be our first area right here. Potentially, although I could see it easily breaking through and maybe retesting this area. But this right now I'll mark up as my area of interest. Seeing as it actually touched price down here and here, and the wicks tested this area as well. Even back here, it touches
Nice.
quite a few. So this pair, since it currently would be at the top, the weekly is starting to go down a little bit, as well as the daily and 4 hour, but we'd have to wait for a retest as of right now.
So you're waiting for the retest of your area of interest. So mark up more area of interest on the weekly and see if they go in confluence with the daily, just in case if it breaks through that area too fast, because it is pretty relatively close.
All right, sounds good. It actually touches a lot on the daily. Even further back, it's very well respected. On the 4 hour, does the same thing. So I think it's a pretty good area of interest to start off with. So
Okay,
that'd be
sorry.
fair until it actually comes to this area, and then we can decide what to do next.
Fair enough. Okay, perfect.
So I
Simple.
can do one more
Yeah,
since I go that way. But if I use the replay mode,
what was that?
would you mind if I use the replay mode to show
Nah.
kind of a pre example?
Go ahead.
All right. So this one would be fine. I'm just gonna go to the weekly and identify a good trend that I could just come back to, such as this one right here. So assuming this was live, the weekly would currently be bearish.
I think you're writing that on the ray.
Oh, my bad.
Nah, you're good.
Just a little nervous. And then as of right now, this is our last close candle. That would be our lower low.
Okay.
So I wouldn't count this right here as an elbow. It doesn't do much. So weekly is currently bearish. We'd want to wait for a retest. Identify my daily first, which is currently bearish as well. And then on the 4 hour, we are bearish as well.
Okay.
If I went back to my weekly and I marked up an area of interest for retest, this area right here would be the my area of most interest, considering it was a previous lower low, and price even kind of stopped around this area. So
Okay.
I'd want to wait until the retest for this area right here. So as of right now, my confluences would be waiting for weekly retest.
Okay.
If I play it forward just a little bit. At this point right here, price is already touching my area of interest. I would want to wait for a body closure though, correct? Or just price to be in the area?
Well, this is where you would go down to the daily and see what's, because so now you're at your area of interest. So now go down to the daily, see what the daily is doing. All right, dope. So we got a daily rejection candle from your area of interest, along with the 4 hour, along with daily EMA. So then you're because where you're at is at your weekly area of interest. That's an area that you marked off on your weekly. So that's the first thing. You're at your weekly area of interest. And then there's pretty much nothing else on the weekly. There's no weekly rejection candlestick. For 3 would be daily doji from weekly area of interest.
That's right. And then we also got the daily EMA.
Yep. Okay. So this is where you go down to the 4 hour. And then you would see where's the 4 hour. As you can see, the 4 hour right now is technically, I don't know, is that bullish or bearish?
So that would be bullish. I guess technically it would now actually be bearish. It just broke this high right here.
Okay,
and
cool.
Broke down here.
Okay, so then so literally where you are right now is where you would be entering. So literally like exactly where you are, like this right here, where you are right here, this is where you would have to wait for it to go. Like on the 30-minute time frame or 15-minute time frame, you would have to wait for this time frame to shift from bullish to then bearish. You get that, right?
Yes, this one already shifted. So now I just
Well,
need to
on the 4 hour it shifted bearish, but now you need to sell at a lower high. So then on this lower high is where it would go temporarily bullish on the lower time frame, and then that's where you would wait for the shift of that to then go down. Exactly. So as you can see, as of right now, you need this to basically break under here to then take the trade short.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll make sense. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a bit sick right now, so I'm sorry if I was boring, but and I think I caught the flu, so I'm a bit sluggish.
No, you're good, man. But yeah, so I mean, play it. Let's see what happens. I have no idea what happens.
Okay.
So as you can see, as of right there, as you can see, there was no bearish structure, so we never took the trade. So then, right there, as you can see, we reached our area of interest, and then right here is where we shifted structure. Right there, shift the structure, and then that's where you would have basically gotten in on the sell. Just went like too fast. Did you guys see it? Jeremy, you saw it? So go back out to the 4 hour. Yeah. See, then you did it inside your area of interest, but technically here we could have been creating a higher low. But right now you would probably still not be in this position. Like it's just, this is why I hate the replay, because it's just like confuses you going back and forth. But ideally, like is the way, like this right here, you would have not taken the trade because there was no shift to structure, which was this line right here, that little line that you have marked off right there, this one. That's exactly where we're waiting for this, because this is the pullback that goes bullish And in that pullback that goes bullish, you have to wait for it to go bearish to then take the trade. So this is the strategy right here. Literally, this shift of structure, and then there was no shift in structure, so you never took the trade.
All right, I get you. So when it actually came up here and came down here and created the bearish again, there would be this lower high right here that I'd want to enter.
Well, let's see like what are we doing on the daily? So go back out to the daily. If you notice, we have a daily bearish engulfing now. So now from this daily bearish engulfing, we would enter on the next daily with pullback, so on and so forth. Like there's so much like you can't just look at it on one time frame. Like you have to go back to the top. But yeah, this trade is solid. Like keep playing it out. Let's see what happens.
Okay. So
Or from the 4 hour, you could play from the 4 hour because there's too much noise on the 30 minute. Yeah. Yeah. So they probably wait this out. This is what it is. But yeah, it's literally perfect. This could have been like another entry right here. Then you would have gotten stopped out, came back into the area again. Notice how we're having these rejections from where? From our areas of interest. Same exact support and resistance level. It's literally the same everything.
okay.
Yeah.
So whenever it respect our, I guess the 30-minute shift of structure, I gotta remember to go back and inspect the higher time frames again. Okay.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I'm like. Literally, this following week now is going to be like the final of it. Exactly how to completely do this, right? Kind of what it was last week was just like an introduction, understand it, bring awareness to it. Now this following week is how to exactly like implement it.
All right,
Which
sounds
is
good.
yeah, very simple. Appreciate it, Johnny.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
All right.
See here.
I make you host, right?
No, yeah, if you stop the share, I could just reclaim it. All right, cool. Appreciate it, Johnny. Okay, let's see. Oh, I hate doing this on the laptop. All right, let's see what I got here. Pratt, you want to go next? All right, bet. Let's do it. All right, I'm gonna unmute you. Now you are the host. All right, you're now the host. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's up, man?
Cool, man. I'm good. I'm just.
This is the guy sending me AUD CAD.
No. As you can see, I've just got I got a shit ton of shit going on, so I'm just playing around with a lot of pairs. No, I just wanted to go through USD. Is it USD CHF? Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
This is actually quite more nerve-wracking than I thought, but it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, so obviously.
Share your screen. I can't see nothing, man.
Oh, you can't see my screen?
No, man, you gotta share, bro. Bro, you're sending me some fire pairs, man. Why you nervous, bro? Like you're teaching me, man.
Well, can you see my screen now?
Okay, it's loading.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay. So now I was saying that there's a shit ton of pairs. That's why I just fuck around with all of that. But sorry for swearing. So I'll go from the weekly. This, so I got two areas of interest. By the way, this box is a weekly area of interest and a daily area of interest. This is just a weekly area of interest, this black line. So we're bullish on the weekly. So we'll just go from there. So bullish, and then obviously going up. To that, wait, I don't know what that is. Let me just remove that. And then we're bullish on a daily. Bullish on a daily. and bullish on the 4 hour. Well, on the 4 hour, we were bearish to begin with, so that made the new high. So that was obviously the low. As we went into that, that was the low, 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 high. So I was kind of waiting for the shift in structure. Boom, we made the high. So now I'm waiting for the, obviously the double to re to
Right,
readjust.
is that what you're doing is fire, man. It's literally fire.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, thank you. And then obviously it's actually a head and shoulder on the weekly. So that's what I was like, yo, shit, this shit might play out more than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like some sort of head and
Bro,
shoulder.
I'm telling you, that is a beautiful trade. Like beautiful trade. Beautiful. And because it's gonna have the little wick pull back into there. So go back to the 4 hour. So now literally just go down to the 30-minute now. So as you can see, zoom in. As you can see, price is already, it's gonna go bearish very soon. So yeah, if you leave the screen right there, so I can draw this. So price is literally just gonna start doing this right here. Start doing this into this area of interest. The moment this thing goes from bearish
To
to then bullish, bro, you take this trade, man. It's really that simple, bro. And then here you take it, and that's where you would go out to the 4 hour, and then in the 4 hour, it's gonna have a bullish engulfing, so on and so forth. Retest the EMA, retest a weekly neckline, retest a weekly area of interest, 4 hour higher low. Everything, yeah, everything is right there, man. Fire. Fire. Congratulations.
That was it. Thank you. That was it. Stop
You
sharing.
yeah, you can stop the share. I'm fire. See, like that to me. Let me do this. Like, I hate doing this on the computer. But honestly, like those things for me, honestly, like it's a lot more. Like I get more out of that than actually like catching the trade myself. Like knowing that like what I'm teaching is actually being understood is crazy to me, you know. But yeah, fire. Let me stop the share because I don't.